Welcome, Ram fans, to Final Score. I'm Steve Ivy. We've just watched our beloved CSU Rams drop a game to the VCU, Virginia Commonwealth University Rams, 76-68 in the Jack Jones Classic. Before I go any further, I don't think it's the same Jack Jones, but I want to honor the great Jack Jones with his most famous song of all time. Join me in singing the theme from Love Boat.
Love, exciting and new.
All aboard. We're expecting you. Okay, that's enough of that. Sorry, I couldn't resist. That's my generation. For those of you who didn't grow up in my generation, that was I think it was it Saturday night or Friday night? It was Saturday night. Love Boat followed by Fantasy Island. It was back to back, just wonderful TV. Love Boat featuring nothing but celebrities doing about 3-minute cameos and really dumb stories, but it was all about love and going on cruises. And of course, cruise ships really took off as a result of that. I've got my first comment. What in the hell? Come on, you Chad Pyro, you know about Love Boat. If you don't, your parents certainly do. Anyway, tough loss for the Rams tonight. I don't know where to get started. I'll pull up the box score in a little bit. It was a back and forth game in the first half. The Rams went into the locker room trailing 33-32. Here we go, Corey. 1999 to watch VCU grab 100 offensive rebounds in a row. We'll get to that in a second. That was the ill-fated stretch. First of all, the 1999, that's unheard of. I mean, you can buy, we bought Hulu for a year for $1 a month. So, I mean, 1999 for one game, that's crazy. But yeah, the offensive rebounding, like I said, Corey, we'll get into that in a little bit. That was the stretch that decided the game. But the first half, back and forth, scrappy affair. Neither team shot it particularly well, but Rams went in down 33-32 at the half. After leading most of the half, they fell behind right at the very end. I think they led for 13 minutes in the first half. And then VCU came out of the chute and went on a little bit of a run to start the second half with a couple of threes, and CSU went down by about 5 or so, but righted the ship. 10-point run to take the lead. It was back and forth for a while. Rams led 61-60 just inside of 7 minutes in the game. And as Corey mentioned, there was an ill-fated stretch where the Rams, they struggled to rebound to start the game. I put out something on social media that was I think VCU had 11 rebounds before the Rams had 1 rebound. Let me bring up the box score because I think you'll see if we go to the first half box, VCU in the first half, 18 rebounds, 6 offensive rebounds in the first half. The Rams got back to had 14 rebounds in the first half. So VCU started quick on the boards. Like I said, I think it was easily the first 8. It might have been the first 11 before the Rams kind of righted the ship. And that's when they started coming back and gnawing into the lead and taking the lead. But that ill-fated part in the second half, let me show you this. The second half box, there was about a 2 to 2.5 minute span. VCU, they had 6 rebounds in the 6 offensive rebounds in the second half. All 6 of them came on 3 consecutive possessions, and the Rams gave up 7 points. They went from a 1-point lead to a 6-point deficit, and from there it was turnover city, and we're never back into the game. That was it. That was the decisive run. Coach Medved called a timeout, gave his team an earful. They needed more than an earful. You can't do that. And that was just not the way you're going to win a game, especially against a good team. Lee pointing something out. I'm going to get into this, Lee. Tough loss with 2 starters, again, contributing 0 points. Let me put up something that was very interesting for CSU, and I don't think we've seen this year. This was the bench scoring today. CSU 39 points, VCU 14, 39-14. That's unheard of. We scored 68 points. We got 39 off the bench, 29 from our starters. That's untenable in the long run. That's a great performance by the bench, but if the coaching staff isn't asking questions about whether they're playing the right guys, the right amount of minutes after tonight's game, I don't know what's going to shake them up, because what we saw was 2 goose eggs, Ethan Morton and Kyan Evans. You can't have that. Ethan Morton for the 2nd straight game with 0 points. My friend Mike Rowe sent me a text at the end of the game. In the last 2 games, Ethan Morton has played 50 minutes and he scored 0 points. I don't know any starting lineup that can support somebody who scores 0 points in 50 minutes. And I'm just going to come right out and say it. Nico needs to figure something out. Lee thinks Williams needs to start. I don't know about that. I'm not going to say he needs to start, but I can tell you right now, based on what we're starting to see, the 6 best, the five players that CSU needs to play 2 bigs. Kyle Jorgensen started with a smaller lineup, hit the first 5 points, struggled though the rest of the game. I'm not going to get on Kyle. He's a freshman. He's going against a very veteran team, a very mature team, and a very good team. I'm not going to discount how good VCU is. But the bigs that tended to perform better tonight, a little more consistently, were Jalen Crocker Johnson, Rashawn Mbemba. Mbemba came off the bench in the first half, 4 for 4 from the field, and had 4 rebounds. So 8 points and 4 rebounds. He'd finished the game with 10 points and 6 rebounds. What I'm trying to understand is the 2 leading scorers for VCU coming into the game were Joe Bamasile and Max Shulga. Our 2 leading scorers are Neek Clifford and Jalen Lake. Lake and Clifford average about 33 points between them. They shot, I think, 1 for 9 in the first half. Obviously, they were the central focus of VCU's game plan, and VCU did a good job of them. I have no idea why Bamasile and Shulga weren't the central focus of our game plan, because if they were, we sure didn't have the right people guarding them. The 2 of those guys ended up with 45 points. Out of their 76, 45 points from their 2 top scorers. CSU failed dramatically to shut their 2 scorers down. VCU did what they needed, forced the other guys to get into it, and luckily we had scoring from the bench. When Lee says Williams needs a start, I think we're going to have to start seeing more minutes from Crocker Johnson, from Mbemba, obviously, who's on a minutes count. If you followed, Rashawn has a hard time even practicing. He's playing no more than 15 to 20 minutes. We're a better team when he's in the game. He sets a lot of hard screens, creates a lot of room. The offense tends to go. But Jalen Crocker Johnson, we need his size, his physical size and strength and rebounding. We fell apart with the small ball lineup when Mbemba was in with Morton, Clifford, Lake, and and Evans. That was the lineup that got killed on the glass. So Corey pointing out the offense is getting worse as the season progresses. You want to know something? The offense actually performed reasonably well against a good defensive team today. They turned the ball over a little too much. 13 turnovers. They were a little sloppy. There's a point in the game where the first 4 turnovers were Virginia Commonwealth, and I think they had 6. We had 1, and I think they had 6 early in the game. By the end of the game, it ended up with CSU with, I believe, 15 turnovers to only 9 for VCU. That turned around. That was what was driving CSU's performance in the first half, was the turnover differential. And once they lost the turnover differential, once they started losing that, the offense stopped getting enough shots. They actually shot greater than 50% against a team that is one of the top defensive teams in the country. If I pulled up the Ken Palm stats, Corey, you'd see that they give up under 30% on 3-pointers, and they give up about 40% on their 2-pointers. CSU shot 51% on the game. That's probably, when I look at the numbers and I go to Ken Palm after we get off of here, I think we'll see that CSU might have had as good an offensive performance as anybody's had against VCU from a shooting perspective. It was the turnovers that beat them in the second half, and then obviously the offensive glass. So I don't know where to go with this. I'm not going to stay too long on this particular stream. It was disappointing to me. This team, I don't know. We continue to see the same thing. From my perspective, a lot of the same things week after week after week. I thought this team would be further along. I'm not going to get on Nick Clifford. Nick is the center part of the scouting report. He's playing against good teams, and he's working his butt off. He had a double-double. Taylor saying missing Zay more than I thought we would. I knew we'd miss him. I thought there'd be other ways that CSU would be able to deal with this, but it's obvious that we have not put together a lineup that can consistently put points on the board, that doesn't go through spells where they don't rebound. Here we go. Lee saying rotation needs reevaluation quickly, or conference season will be very rough. I'll tell you right now, this is not any better than a 7th place team in the conference, and they could be heading lower than that the way they're playing. They play good at times. They can't play 40 minutes, but I think the coaching staff has got to figure out a way to get more consistent scoring, more consistent, as Corey pointed out, more consistent ball movement. The ball sticks. But I thought, like I said, I thought they'd be way further along at this point, and we're seeing, I hate to say this, the old definition of insanity is doing the same things over and over again and expecting different results, but we're stuck in that right now. Like I said, I don't see how we can have a person playing on anybody on offense who can't score. And tonight we had 2 starters who had 0. I've never seen that in my entire life watching college basketball. That's completely untenable. I believe in our coaching staff. I think they're a great coaching staff. And like Lee said, the rotation needs reevaluation quickly, or conference season will be rough. Another comment from Lee: Radford 9-3 coming in for the last non-con. Not bad little squad. They got murdered by Utah today. Their 3 losses are, I think, the top 60 teams. They're 9-3. They are, I believe, they were ahead of us for a while in the net rankings. They may have slipped a little bit, but they're probably ahead of us in the net rankings, a little bit behind us in the Ken Palm rankings. But that's a losable game. This team is CSU's 5-5, gang. I think a lot of us thought, none of us thought we were going to go 11-0 in non-con, but I think from my perspective, I thought 8-3 was certainly doable. And lo and behold, 5-5 and a Radford team coming in that's going to give them problems. They've got a quick turnaround. Radford played at Utah today. CSU played in Las Vegas. They're both going to be flying back to Fort Collins and have limited time for a Tuesday game. And we'll see. I doubt if CSU is going to make any changes to anything they've done, because lo and behold, there's not a lot of time to make that many changes. So I don't know. I'll be there. I had planned to go to the Vegas game, and if you watch my show on Thursday night, we decided to change some plans and take it easy. But I would have liked to have been there and cheered them on. I hate losing, and I would have gone crazy, of course, just like I am going crazy now. But I just don't know. I just don't know what we're going to see. I would have thought we'd start seeing changes 5 games ago. We started seeing signs of this actually in the second or third game of the year. We started seeing teams sag off into the paint, watching people struggling to score in the starting lineup. And while we may have some defensive deficiencies with some of the players coming off the bench, we sure as heck look like a better team when Keyshawn Williams comes in, or Bowen Bourne comes in, or Jalen Crocker Johnson comes in. And somehow the staff has, I think, got to figure out a way to get this together. What happened to Morton? Getting Morton or Cliff off the ball at the foul line seemed to work halfway decent a few games back. Yeah, I don't know. They were working with Ethan Corey at kind of the 5 position, being catching the ball with his back to the basket and setting screens and stuff. And I don't know. I don't know what the staff, like I said, we're not seeing a lot of, the only consistency we're seeing is goose eggs out of some players. And everything else is just so up and down right now. I just don't know what to say. I'm at a loss. I guess we've been spoiled. The comment before of Taylor missing Zay more than I thought we would. We had it. He kept it together. He kept the offense going. He kept it flowing. The ball movement was great. The ball gets a little stickier now. We don't have players that get as easily into the paint to get the offense cooking. We don't score a lot of easy buckets at the rim anymore. The Joel Scotts, the Pat Cartiers, it's hard work getting the ball inside. That's partly because of Zay not being there, but it's also partly because the other guys they just don't feel comfortable doing it. So here we go. I still like many of the pieces. Several players may need to become 8 and 9 in rotation. Yeah, I think the staff has got to look at that. On a brighter note, hopefully Zay will get the call up to the Heat soon. I don't know if you've been following me on Twitter. Zay had another big game last night. They were terrible. He plays for the Sioux Falls Skyforce in South Dakota in the G League. 8-4 going into last night's game against a not so good team, and they were down 18 at the half. Zay wasn't particularly playing well. Neither was anybody else. And they got it together in the second half. Zay ended up with 13 points. He took only 7 shots, ended up with 14 assists, led his team back, hit the 2 free throws that put the game, put them over the top at the end. Had a lot of really, it's amazing. Some of the players he has, they've got some really good athletes and some really good players on that Sioux Falls team. And Zay knows who to throw bounce passes to and who to throw lob passes to. And they sure dunk a lot when he's throwing passes. Anyway, Miami is in the process of trading a player away who's on a contract, and it opens up a roster spot. The expectation is not that Zay will get a full NBA contract. They already have a player named Drew Smith on a 2-way contract, and they're expecting to move Zay up to, Drew Smith up to a full contract, which opens up a 2-way contract. And if that's the case, there's a good chance Zay will move up and get a 2-way contract. If he doesn't get a 2-way contract soon from Miami, I will be shocked if somebody else doesn't come in and grab him, because he is leading. He's averaging 11 assists a game at the G League, top top playmaker in the G League. His team is 9-4. They're doing very, very well. So anyway, hopefully that's where it's headed for him. If anybody else, if you have any more comments about the game or any other thoughts, I'm very disappointed. Not that we lost, it's just we keep losing in similar kind of ways. We were more competitive today than we were against CU. I will say that CU was a much tougher environment. This was not a heavily attended with a lot of crowd noise kind of environment. And pardon me, I'm peeking, looking at St. Mary's, Boise State up 4 on St. Mary's in the second half. I'm sorry. I'm going to be going on at about 9 or 9:15 with my friend Tom Moser, doing a live stream of the tonight in the Mountain West. We'll talk about the Mountain West games and specifically break down the Boise game. So I'm trying to watch that out of my one of my eyes while I do this stream. Anyway, I'm focused on this. I'm gonna call it a night. Like I said, very disappointed. I don't need to go over the box score again. Bench was great. Nick Clifford, better second half. Lake got it going a little bit. Mbemba off the bench with his limited minutes did a great job. Keyshawn Williams, 14 points. Bowen Bourne was fine too. Bowen, I think, had 7 points, only took 4 shots, did a good job. But the Rams go down 76-68. We were hoping for post-game snacks. I was going to break out the Frito-Lay products for myself to snack on while I did this, but they're still in the basket up in the kitchen. So anyway, thanks everybody for watching. We'll be on Monday morning. Like I said, actually stop by and we'll have some fun. Here we go. Can we leave with a rendition of the theme from All in the Family? No. I'd have to be, was it Edith Stapleton singing Those Were the Days? No, we won't be doing that. That wasn't one of my favorite shows, believe it or not. But anyway, here we go. Chad, my last person, the last commenter, Chad's a professional PGA pro. He'll like this. When does Masters talk start? Well, we got to get through basketball season, Corey, but is anybody picking against Scotty Scheffler right now? Doubtful. But we'll see on that. Actually, the golf course I work at, we do a very fun event, Masters Weekend, called the Masters Challenge, where you enter a twosome and in kind of a scramble format, and then you pick a couple of players playing in the Masters. 4 players, actually, I believe is how it works, and you're limited to certain types of players, and A players, B players, C players, D players, and it's kind of a fun event because it really comes down to not necessarily how well you play, but how good you are at picking who gets hot. So one round, you got to pick who gets hot. Anyway, that's a fun event. Here we go. Mile High Minute popping in. Didn't get to watch the game, but intrigued to hear what you have to say. Thank you. You can listen to the beginning. I was not, like I said, if you started in the beginning, I'm not happy. I just don't think this team is clicking like they can. I think there's enough there, but you can't have 2 starters scoring 0 points. You can't have a bench outscoring the other team 39-14 and losing. That's unheard of. That just doesn't happen. So there's decisions to be made, I think, by the coaching staff. I don't know what's going to happen for the Radford game, but we're a week away from CSU visiting Nevada, and then another week from the Christmas, and then another week after that, the 28th, the home game with New Mexico. So we open with 2 of the top 5 teams. Those are going to both be very, very difficult games. If the Rams don't figure out a way to get this thing turned around, they could easily open 0-2. So I'm going to call it a night. Everybody, thank you for participating. I really like this. I joke. I probably picked maybe the wrong season to start this. It sure would be a lot more fun if we were winning, but I'm committed to this program. I love this coaching staff. I have belief in this team and the players in this team. They're not clicking. it's up to everybody else to. Oh, here we got a comment. I noticed South Dakota State played CU tough. Makes you wonder how CSU went. South Dakota State is actually a decent team. They played Boise State tough. They lost by a basket to Boise State on neutral site. They had Nevada. They were at Reno the other day. They lost by about 15. They were up 7 at halftime. So they're a decent team, South Dakota State. So don't get carried away with that. South Dakota State's ahead of where CSU is right now. And I'll say that right now. They're ahead of us. We have the chance to be a better team. We're just not clicking. Lee, thank you very much. I appreciate everybody coming in and joining in. It may not be fun to talk about losses, but I appreciate the community we're building. I appreciate everybody's participation and love of the Rams. I will continue to love them. Maybe in a little tough love sometimes, like tonight. But I'm gonna call it a night. Join me, like I said, on my stream with Tom. That'll be up in about 45 minutes. And then join me Monday morning with Brady Hull with our Monday morning cup of coffee show. I don't have a guest yet. We'll have a good one. We've been having good ones. We've had players and coaches, and Zay came on one morning as well. So we'll see who we get, but we'll do a show then. And then obviously we'll do a post-game stream on Tuesday night after the Radford game. So I'm going to leave you for now. Thanks, everybody. Have a great rest of the weekend. Have a great evening. Go Rams.